Hey, Nick Green here, Hollywood on Trail. Every hiker's favorite subject, food. Today we're going to outline my favorite meals on trail. All right, so right off the bat, it's worth noting that the typical hiker has some pretty questionable eating habits on trail. Your cardiologist is probably not too happy with you, or they're really happy with you because you're going to give them a lot of business. However, sometimes it just boils down to a numbers game. How many calories can you take in? Because you know how many you're going to be dishing out. Can you take in somewhere close to the same amount? Most hikers lose a ton of weight on trail. I personally lost about 20 pounds. And with my frame, I didn't really have 20 pounds to lose. So even if you're not trying to lose weight, chances are you probably will. Here's how my typical day went. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd have a few snacks. I didn't really eat a big breakfast ever. I just enjoyed having a few Cliff Bars, some Chewy Bars, a brownie, some sort of sugar to pump right into my veins to really get me going. I never drank coffee or anything like that, so I wanted like a good pump, a good start to the day. I would also carry around those instant oatmeal packets, and I would just pour water right in there. You don't even need to boil the water. You just pour any water right into the packet, and you could eat it right out of there. I typically have about 3 or 4 of those or something like that to start the day. So after my sugar intake to start the day, I would hike for about an hour or so, and I'd have a couple snacks in my hip belt, that being more Chewy Bars, Cliff Bars, brownies, Snickers, something like that. Some more sugar to push me through to lunch. Then lunch came around 11 o'clock or noon or so, and I'd have a couple of those tuna packets or salmon packets. Now here's a bit of a hack for those. I would carry around a bit of olive oil in this little like plastic container, and I would pour olive oil into those packets. Now, couple of things it does. One, it makes it taste a little bit better in my opinion. I could just kind of chug olive oil. That's just me. Maybe it's my Italian roots or something like that. It's also worth mentioning that olive oil has really good calorie to weight ratio, some of the best on trail. So pouring olive oil into your food is a wonderful way to boost your calorie intake. I would get these little olive oil packets free from delis and supermarkets, like right by the deli section, ketchup, mustard, mayo, olive oil sometimes if you're really lucky, and I would just scoop up those and fill up my container along the way. If you want to get really fancy, they also have these little like lemon packets, these lemon zest packets that you can get also for free at delis and supermarkets and things like that, and you can pour that into your tuna or salmon or anything you want, so kind of spice it up a little bit, Along with my tuna or salmon packets, I would have tortillas that I would put the salmon or tuna in, and that helps fill you up a little bit. I typically have about 2 tortillas completely stuffed with the salmon or tuna, and then eat whatever's left in the packet with my spoon or fork. I'd accompany all that with some snacks, typically some salt intake. You're sweating a lot out there, so some salt intake is probably really good for us. So either potato chips, pretzels, something like that to really salt me up a little bit. The last thing I did at lunch was get ready for my dinner, believe it or not. So I started the trail with a stove that I got rid of around Pennsylvania or so. I really enjoy a nice hot meal at the end of the day, but I learned that I don't necessarily need one, and I was kind of okay without it. So I went to the cold soaking method. Cold soaking is when you just pour water into your dried goods that are supposed to be heated up, and over time, the water just soaks into them, and then you're able to eat it just like you would if you cooked it. The secret to this is using an empty Talenti jar. So first of all, you get to eat all the gelato or the ice cream first, and then you have this really durable, perfectly sized Talenti jar. You pour all of your meal in there, then fill it with water to the very top, shake it around as much as you can, and keep it in your pack until dinner time. So I'd start the cold soaking process at lunch, and I'll tell you what I cold soaked later on when I talk about dinner. My afternoon snack number 1 would be something that I really enjoyed: peanut butter or Nutella. Now either I would put it in one of my tortillas, or I would just spoon it right out of the jar. And it was not untypical for me to eat an entire jar of either peanut butter or Nutella in one afternoon snack.
This is what you get to do when you walk 20 miles every single day.
After snack number 1, I'd hike for a few more hours, again, keeping those snacks in my hip belt, and I'd get to afternoon snack number 2. I tried very hard to make afternoon snack number 2 something healthy. So I would typically carry some dried fruit. Again, those are covered in sugar as well, but at least it's something. They have like dried apples. I know you can get that I used to get a lot, and those are a little bit better. They're a little healthier and less sugar, and they fill you up and they're really tasty. I would also carry some fresh fruit as much as I possibly could. Something hard like carrots or just an apple or something like that. Something I can, you know what I actually did? I learned to eat the entire apple, so there's no stem or anything left. And you know, some people are like the toxins. I really liked it actually. I liked the roughage, so I would eat the entire apple. I thought that was pretty good. So after afternoon snack number 2, which was supposedly a healthier one, I would hike for a few more hours, and before you knew it, dinner time. By 5 or 6 o'clock or so, sometimes a little bit later, like 7 o'clock, I'd arrive at camp and it would be dinner time. Dinner I really enjoyed, and my favorite dinners on trail were Backpackers Pantries. Wonderful family-owned business out of Colorado, and they have really tasty, healthy meals for you to enjoy. There's all different flavors, all different types of food, and I have yet to eat one that I did not like. The price point is pretty good as well. If you buy them in bulk, you can get them for pretty cheap, maybe around $5 or $6 a meal. I would have people send me these things. I would also buy them myself and pick them up in town whenever I could. Having the Backpackers Pantry in my Talenti jar already from lunch, I would just take out my Talenti jar, open it up, all the water would have soaked into the Backpackers Pantry meal, ready for me to eat, and I'd just indulge. And that was it. Then I'd go to bed and wake up and do it all over again the next day. Because you're eating such crap on trail, in town, I would try to eat as much healthy food as I possibly could. I would gorge on the health food in town while eating what I want as well, and really satisfying my needs, because I would love a burger and a beer. As soon as I got into town, that was kind of my thing. But I would also just try to eat as many bananas and apples and fruits and you crave it too. Like you feel like you're getting scurvy on trail sometimes. You feel like you're a pirate or something. So when you're in town, I anyway really craved fresh fruit. So I would chug a V8 splash and just eat as many peaches as I possibly could before I threw up. I actually never got sick of any of the meals on trail. Actually, that's not true. I got sick of one thing on trail, and it was the Idahoan mashed potatoes. I started out really enjoying them, and by the time I got to like Virginia, I was just done with it. I also really enjoyed one other meal on trail, and that was mac and cheese, especially when I had my stove. A really hot, nice, decadent mac and cheese at the end of the day was... I know personally for me, about a month into trail, hiker hunger smacked me in the face and did not leave me alone until about 2 weeks after I got off trail. So it is a big deal. Getting the nutrients you need, getting the calories you need to make your through hike a success should not be taken lightly. You could also have a little fun with it. When are you ever going to eat this type of food ever again? You won't. Only on trail. Is it acceptable, I say? I guess you could eat it whenever you want, but the repercussions probably will surpass how good that beautiful chocolate bar tastes. But not on trail. Chocolate bar tastes good, and you'll burn it right off. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know what your favorite meals on trail are. Let me know if I'm missing something right here, some wonderful snack that is just like out of this world that I should be eating. If you want any gear recommendations, look below for all the gear that I use and recommend wholeheartedly. You can also check out my locker at Rock Porch, and that will give you a great description of all the gear I use and why I use it. So get out there, fill your little hiker bellies, and remember, if you can't carry it in your pack or in your soul, you don't need it. Dog is nuts.